Hi everybody, it's me, Gregory Manarino. How are you today? Alright my friends, a lot going on and I want to go over some of it. It's very interesting actually. So what's going on here in the stock markets here in the United States? Over the past 2 days, we've seen a very strong rally and I believe this is going to continue for several reasons. And we're going to watch the movement of cash from one place to another for a little while. And I want to go over how I believe this is going to play out. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had done a video explaining how I had thought the market would resume an upward swing at least through till October, and then we would probably see a major dynamic shift for a lot of reasons. And I want to go over some of that too here. So let's talk about a couple of things that we're not hearing lately, and I did touch on this in yesterday's video. We have not heard a single Fed president come out in the recent weeks talking about Fed tapering. I believe sincerely this is now completely off the table for many reasons, and that's going to drive asset prices, including gold and silver and the overall markets. Is going to create more and more distortions in the markets that we are going to have to deal with in the not so distant future. That's a fact. So let's talk about that. All right. So we've been hearing from the international community, including the emerging markets, the International Monetary Fund, China, all urging the Fed not to begin any type of a tapering process. Now, I went over, again, in the last video I did, or maybe the last few, discussing how the system we have simply demands that cash be borrowed into existence. It's a debt-based economic model. People, I am not making this up. That's what we have. And if you're new to this blog, please, I urge you to do some research into a debt-based economic model and how they work. Again, just very simply. It simply requires cash to be borrowed into existence in perpetuity. People, it's the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world. I've been over this as well. And again, in a paragraph, you can sum this up. It's so simple. And if you watched yesterday's video, you know exactly what I'm going to say. And you could probably recite this word for word if you follow this blog since I started. All the central banks, none more so than the United States Federal Reserve, is running the biggest Ponzi scheme the world has ever seen. Again, how do they do it? Simple. They print cash out of thin air or just add it to a digital screen. Once that cash leaves their computer screen or their facility, they start to charge interest on that cash printed out of nothing. And that interest, again, printed out of nothing, is what that now new debt earns. It's incredible situation. It's debt compounded by debt in perpetuity. You can't stop. Very frightening situation, and it's time to pay the piper. And we can understand this by watching dynamics unfold. Let's talk about that. Okay, the Syrian war thing, it seems to be more or less off the table right now. I mean, seriously, people, they were pushing for this war. They were on the verge of pushing the button. And then all of a sudden, I guess Obama got cold feet. Maybe he got a call from Ben Bernanke. I have no idea. But some very interesting things went on. Again, the propagation of wars by a country, again, people, just do a little research about this. The United States has been involved in more wars, both large and small, than every single other developed nation combined, multiple fold. There's a reason for that. It goes back to the system we have, that we need to continue to borrow cash into existence to pay for these wars, to pay for everything. Okay, so we understand the Syria thing, more than likely off the table. We also understand a few other dynamics that are very, very important here.